Right, so back to the car and where it is now. I'll let you do this bit.
No, you won't.
So we've put an engine in it. It's a 2.5. That's about as far as we've got. End of the video. See you later. Thanks, subscribe. Well, it's a fairly simple, obvious solution. Just do this and that and the other. And they all moved a bit like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. Right guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Darren.
My name's Ben.
And this is 𝘵𝘵 Performance. We've not had a lot to say about this. We've not had a lot of time to do anything, quite frankly, have we, Ben?
No, not really.
But this engine's in front of us. Shall we critique it or, you know, analyse what's happened to it?
No.
Well, can you just summarise it?
So basically, if we start from the top and work our way down, it's ruined.
It absolutely failed.
Yeah,
so
it's dead.
Do you think we should spend some time stripping it down to find out exactly what's gone wrong?
No.
No. Why is that, Ben?
Because it's ruined and nobody's going to gain anything by working out what's gone wrong.
Is there a technical version for that?
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, okay. Right, so now the viewers understand the reason why we're not going to do that. Because there's about 5 million of these things with a hole in. This may have been one of the first, probably 100, Ben, that's happened to.
Well, I mean, it must have been. It was what, 2017
yeah,
when that fell apart?
Yeah, but there's still probably 100 engines that had this happen. So someone will have critiqued it and analysed it and broken it down. People are far more intelligent than 𝘍𝘠𝘐 and 𝘍𝘠𝘮 here. So I did
Am I D?
you were D, don't worry. And I was dumb. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's too much point. The rod bolt, it's bent and stripped. It was not going at particularly, we weren't doing it, or I wasn't doing particularly high speed. It was in a leading into a 40 or 30 from a 40, so there's no way I missed a gear or anything like that. It's just, whatever's happened, it stretched the bolts, bent them, in the con rod. You can see that by the con rod sticking out, there's bits of mess everywhere. We've had the sump off before, there's a mess in there. The head's a mess, and the piston was actually, well, the electrodes inside the plug rather than the piston. Is there any damage to the pistons? I don't think there was there? Other than the top.
Well, yeah, no, the piston snapped clean in half from the gudgeon pin. Yeah.
My mistake, of course.
The top of the piston, that's why initially when we stripped the plugs out, we didn't think there was a particularly catastrophic failure, because you could see the top of the piston there, but until we actually found the hole.
It's so long ago, I can't bloody remember.
Yeah, but when we put the camera down, it looked like all the pistons and everything were in place, if you remember. But when we actually got the sump off, or you know, the car up in the air and saw the bottom of the con rod hanging out and got the actual sump off and saw the...
Was there a hole in the sump of this one? Can't remember. Or were you thinking about the other one?
No.
That was our one,
yeah, no, there wasn't, though. The sump was fine. It's just that obviously it's come out the side of the block, but yeah, it left the top half of the piston in. But if you remember rightly, when Ford came back to us, or when it came back from Ford, and we put a camera back in, the bit of piston and everything we seen was all got, you know, it was a completely different setup to when we sent it away. If you remember right, they've obviously been poking around a bit more than we realise, I think, because you could see the crank when it came back. You could see the crank straight through the spark plug hole.
Yeah, anyway, Ford didn't want to know anything about it. They still don't want to know anything about it. There's loads of them you will have seen recently, other tuners that have arrived there with rods sticking out the side of the block, blah, 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 yakety smackety. They're all ruined. This was a bad design. Whatever's happened, let's move on and let's find a better solution. Now, obviously, we went from this to the 2-litre motor with the RS cylinder head and the RS sump. Got rid of that motor, as we said before, to the guy with the blue car. That motor's still going strong now and everything. So we are where we are now with the purple car, and we'll just take you through a bit of an update. Right, so we're here. This is in. That's it. Case closed. Video done. Over. See you later. Like, subscribe, bye. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that's good. Good with me.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so where we got to in the last video is that we said we're putting a 2.5 litre engine in here. We've retained some of the RS Mark 3 bits, haven't we, Ben?
Yeah.
So header tank,
about it. No, the radiator and the intercooler are still in there. I think we're gonna run with making up some pipework to keep them. But
fuse board for the time being, definitely. No, actually, that's definitely been retained. A lot of the other fixtures, so like washer bottles and stuff, don't have to move. You know, reservoir and stuff like that. There's just a load of pipe adaptation. We won't bore you with that. But from a perspective of where we're up to now, we're going to run the Mark II loom, engine loom.
Mark II loom, yeah.
So Mark II loom into a hybrid of such of the Syvecs. Now, I know a load of people on the previous video said, why don't you run Syvecs? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because we wanted to try and connect it to the existing ECU originally. But by the time we'd made that video, there wasn't an original ECU in this car anyway. It was just a Syvecs S6. So then that was Mark II S6 version. Now that won't run with this version and wouldn't connect to that CAN. So those of you who are like, well, it's a fairly simple, obvious solution, just do this and that and the other. And they all moved a bit like this, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Did they?
Well, I saw them, obviously. You know, the responses, the video responses. All right, kid, it's just a bit like this, you know what I mean? Looked like they'd had a good night. Anyway, I'll come down off my high horse. What we're doing is, we've been in touch with Simon at SciTech Racing, so as you know, we're going to do the hardware side, aren't we, Ben? And as usual, Simon's going to do the software side. So we spoke to Charlie at Syvecs. This is going to become very complicated because these two names are really close, aren't they, Ben?
What, Charlie and Simon?
No, dickhead. SciTech and Syvecs. So I spoke to Charlie at Syvecs, told him what I wanted to do. He offered to upgrade the S6. Simon thought that was a bad idea, that we should have the S7 because then we've got all the support and everything. So they're changing the CAN bridge and everything in this. Well, don't quote me on this. Before someone shoots me in the comments again, they're going to go, no, it's not that, it's actually this. Do you know what? I'm not a software guy. Nor is he. So, anyway. So apparently what Charlie says he's going to do is change that. What?
It's not Charlie. Charlie says, it's Simon says.
What? Right, this is going to get dead confusing real quickly. So Simon's going, don't. So Syvecs is going to change the bridge in this and convert it over so that the CAN will run, and hopefully we'll be able to run 2 CAN and CAN, and then there'll be a load of girls dancing along here, doing the CAN with the Macarena. And that's it. End of video. Fucked. Quite frankly, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I never knew in the first instance before he corrects me. So yeah, that's where we're up to. End of video. See you later. Bye. So the only surprising thing about this build, or probably the biggest surprise about this build, was the fact that the Volvo Transfer Box comes so close to the prop shaft of the Mark III, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it couldn't be better, really, to be fair.
It's tight as hell, isn't it? In fairness, there's a final section of the prop shaft that could be removed if needed to be, but I don't think it's going to be, is it?
Well,
there's going to be there needs to be some adaptation.
It needs a different flange, so whether it's
worth just making the.
Yeah, I don't know. We just have to see. I think when the engine's like mounted properly with this bottom torque mount in place, whether the length is actually right, because I think this might be sitting a little bit far back at the minute.
Yeah, but for those of you that were wondering exactly where we're up to, this is a bit of an update, really, more than anything. We've got a solution which we're not going to tell you about now because we're revealing way too many bits and pieces, and putting ourselves in a position where we could. Someone could chase us down because there's not a lot of work to get to where we are, really. There's a lot of figuring out, so we don't want to give you the other solutions just quite yet. We realise that we can't keep this completely to ourselves, and it's just not going to work. At some point everyone's going to find out exactly what bit to make up a kit, aren't they? and people are going to offer their own, but we want to just be the first to market with Simon at Sytec Racing. That's the whole idea. As I said before, you can't, no man's an island, and you can't do this on your own. You need a team of good people around you. So we've got a solution for the hubs. We think we've got a solution in terms of drive shafts, and we've definitely got a solution in terms of connecting to the prop shaft itself. So as long as this Syvecs thing comes off, which I've no doubt it will, Charlie's a good man. Obviously we all know that Simon's a good man, and he's probably going to come here to do what needs to be done, which leads me on to the next thing, which is if you've been watching social media or even just this platform itself, you will have seen some links on the community to some of the stuff that we purchased recently and the reasons why we've been so elusive, which is that we've purchased
𝘍𝘠𝑦𝑛𝑜.
So we've been playing with that. We've made our own fan, haven't we, Ben?
We have, yeah. So
we've got a 4.5, 5 kilowatt.
I made that fan.
Your only fans is where you were, mate. So yeah, we've sorted our own centrifugal fan setup. So that's a 5 kilowatt, 4.5, 5 kilowatt motor with a huge 18 by 15 inch fan driven with 2 pulleys. Designed that. Hopefully we'll be offering that to a few local people at decent price as well. But it's been a good learning experience, hasn't it, really, Ben? Sorting that out, it's been enjoyable. We've been sorting that out, trying to make sure that before we start doing these things, we're in a good, strong position in it, really, Ben. So Simon's going to come here, hopefully, and tune on the hub dyno. Obviously, as we all know, these things can be tuned on a 2-wheel drive dyno, so that's okie doke. The only last thing we need to do is work out what's happening with the Syvecs might actually sort that out for us with the 𝘠𝘪𝘵. I don't think it does. Don't quote me on that one. I'm sure I spoke to Charlie and said it does. He'd said it doesn't, so we'll have to do something with that 𝘠𝘪𝘵 at the rear to sort that out. Whatever, I'm sure Simon, that's not our problem anyway. Simon's doing that bit. We'll forget about that. We'll leave that to Simon. Merry Christmas, Simon. So that's the update for now. I think we'll end it here, underneath the car. It's been marvellous, hasn't it? It's been a lovely week, hasn't it?
Yeah, great.
It's been a week of Lee. You've had Lee very close to you.
That's the only downside, yeah.
It's amazing. And
I know, yeah. We've only done a couple of videos for the reasons that we wanted to get. We had to prioritise things, customers, and also this dyno. All will become clear anyway in the future. But for now, if you haven't already and you like this sort of content, then consider subscribing. If you're new to the channel, welcome, thanks for staying till the end. Other than that, comment down below, like it if you like it, share amongst your friends, get it on all the MK3 𝘍𝘂𝘁 RS forums. This Mark II engine into this Mark III is definitely happening, isn't it, Ben? 110%. Thanks for watching till the end, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, Ben.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.